They need to listen to some Evanescence, you know what I mean?
There you go.
Wake me up. Wake me up inside. Can't wake up.
Barley wine.
Yeah. It's just gross.
That's Trevor's.
It's better than your facial
It tastes
expression,
like
at
fucking
least.
like Keystone.
At least it's light enough that, like,
Smell-
it's, like...
God.
Smells like
Well,
Keystone
imagine
with
it
a
was
little
something, like,
sweetness.
stronger and that kind of flavor.
Don't you think it stinks? It just smells like butt.
For
I
the
didn't
viewers
smell
out
it.
there,
That's
we
probably why
are
it tasted
currently
okay for me.
drinking Earthquake, high gravity lager. It's about in $2.50 packaging, 10% alcohol by volume. Definitely not a sponsor, and I don't know if we even want to consider them a sponsor.
Yes, we do. Take it back.
Matt will drink all of those.
I will drink a whole pallet of Earthquake.
If these show up on your driveway, you're going to drink these?
No, I'd probably
These are
kill myself.
this is a 20 this is a 24
We
ounce
finally got
can.
a sponsor.
No,
Matt
no.
killed himself.
Earthquake. Sorry, guys. Appreciate you, but no, I'm not going to do that. It's just not good, man. It's perplexing.
Very interesting.
Could
how
you
many
imagine?
ounces is that
Could you
thing?
imagine if somebody brought that to like a party?
I bet people do. It's $2.
Yeah, like for $2.
Like,
I
hey.
guarantee younger people do.
Do you want an earthquake?
If you hear Matt start slurring his words, it's because he's gonna.
You know that Draymond. He's a pussy.
Welcome back to episode 27 of the podcast. We are in the middle of the NBA playoffs, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be 99.9% of what we're going to be talking about. The other 0.1% is going to be the upcoming NBA lottery. That is when? Monday. And everyone is in the Cooper Flagg sweepstakes. Well, not everyone. Who are the top
Yes, everyone
five?
is.
Well, I guess everyone is.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Let's talk about it. Who are the top five right now that are up there with potential to get him?
So Utah and Washington both have even odds. They're 14%.
Okay.
No, I just want to call Utah the Mammoths all the time,
Hey,
regardless
Tusks
of what
up.
sport they're
It's
playing.
very,
Tusks up.
is that what
That's their
what they
thing.
do?
That's-
Yeah.
Oh, I
Great.
love it.
So Utah, the Jazz, and Washington, the Wizards, are 14%. Charlotte is 12.5%. Philly is 10.5%. But there needs to be a little asterisk there because if that pick ends up 7th or lower, they're gonna have to give it up to OKC because of a trade that happened
Watch
in
them get
2019 when they overpaid Al Horford and sent him to OKC
It's
in a
wild.
salary dump, and then you could argue Al Horford was one of the most important players on the Celtics these past couple of years.
Yes.
That's a whole other thing. So, Philly, if they are 6 and above, will keep their pick. Brooklyn has 9%, Toronto 7.5%, San Antonio 6%. Phoenix is giving up their first round pick to Houston. They're at 3.8%. Portland 3.7%.
That's big for Houston.
Dallas is at 1.8. Chicago's at 1.7. Sacramento, they have a similar thing. They're less than 1%. The top 12 protected. So if that ends up 12 or above, and then Atlanta's got 0.7%, but that pick is going to San Antonio because of the DeJounte Murray trade.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where do we want to see Cooper Flagg next year? Where do you guys want to see Cooper Flagg next year?
Realistically? Or?
Realistically, like
If you had to pick out of these teams, because that's
this is what
realistic.
Here's
You can't
something
do
I
trade
really...
withstanding,
Well,
but-
here's why I'm saying the realistic part is I do and don't want to see this. It would be just funny to see it if OKC got him. I would hate to see that because it makes everything harder for like us in the West. But
I have
like,
that on here too, man. If OKC somehow, some way, with like the amount of picks that they have, with all the trades that they've been doing, like you said on here, first rounders in 2026, 2027, and 2029, you're like,
yeah.
Do they sell house and just say, hey, let's go for it and just
Well, I
see
mean,
what happens.
I mean, even if that pick converts to them, if it's if it's 7 or lower, then OKC would have that, and then they would have 3 first-round picks in this upcoming draft.
It's crazy.
absurd.
And then they would have 2 in, like you said, 2026, 2027, 2029. We're not even talking about 2030s at the moment, which there are more
Yeah.
because of what they were doing the past 4 years, which
Unreal.
is why Sam Presti is probably the best executive of our lifetime.
And it's paying off, as you can see in this year's the playoffs and them over the last 2 years. It's nuts.
If OKC gets Cooper Flagg, it will seriously. I know I talked about OKC pretty glowingly in the last podcast, but it truly will be like the dynasty has begun for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Cooper Flagg is a guy that they actually need, who could probably
it's the
fill
role
those,
that they are kind
fill
of missing
those
right
Jalen
now.
Williams. Because
Or
I'm not the
I
highest
shouldn't say.
on him.
Yeah, I take back missing. They're not missing the role. They just could improve on it a little bit.
Like solidify.
yeah, exactly.
This is the Harrison Barnes to Kevin Durant upgrade type thing that Golden State went to.
I don't know if you can
should
make
not.
that.
Maybe I should not be calling
Yeah.
Cooper Flagg Kevin
I
Durant.
get
but
your jump that you're saying,
Yes.
but that's too early to make that big of a leap.
So OKC, that would be awesome. I mean, the whites in Utah would go nuts for Cooper Flagg.
Yes,
They
they
So
would
are
would.
you saying
be
you want
insane.
Utah?
Yes, they would.
I
No,
think
because-
Washington would be the most fun of the realistic, like probably
I
going to
mean,
happen.
You know I love my Washington Wizards.
Well, you missed
know I
it. The
love-
other day, Taylor was saying he loves the Washington
I
Wizards on
love-
accident.
I
I do.
love,
I
love,
do.
love my Washington.
that was yesterday.
Wizards.
Yeah, because he was trying to say he loves the Washington Commanders, but he
Commanders.
said the Wizards, so it's locked in now.
I'm
He's
just
a
gonna-
Wizards
I'm
fan.
going to dive into all Washington.
If the Wizards could get Cooper Flagg, they are legitimately a playoff team next year.
You think so?
Yes, I think it. I think it jumpstarts everything for them, and they get to actually be.
I
a
think it
contender
sets them on
again.
that path. I don't know if they make it the first year, but I do think it sets them on second year for sure. They get playoffs.
Cooper Flagg is one of those guys that will come in and make a very big impact. The thing that I'm concerned with when it comes to these Utah, Washington, and the other teams up there that could potentially get him,
They ruin him.
yeah, how much weight are they going to put on his shoulders? How much playing time he's going to get a ton of playing time? Is he going to get hurt? Hopefully he doesn't. Is it going to be a lot of stress? Is he going to lose confidence? Because you put those really good players up there in that echelon of like really solid, good, quality
he
players, and
does
then they
have
come
the-
in, and it's like, man, I got all this stress to perform, and if he doesn't perform, people are getting on him. So subconsciously, your mindset just goes down as an athlete. Hopefully that doesn't happen. He has the talent. You saw it in the USA practice. He was the only college kid to get invited, and he held his own. So he has the potential. It's just that's what I'm scared of.
Yeah, you
No
just
matter
don't
where
want
he
the
goes.
Philadelphia thing that was going on where
Yeah.
all these really talented players
And you
didn't
don't-
pan out ever because
And you don't
they
want him
got
to go to
wasted
Charlotte
there.
either. Who wants to go to Charlotte?
If he has
No.
to go to Charlotte and share the court with LaMelo Ball
Oh
and
my
Brandon
gosh.
Miller, I do think it will do irreparable damage to him. It's the same thing like New Orleans. Like him going to New Orleans would be just awful.
Yeah.
The
would
one
be
thing
so
that
bad
could
for his
change
career.
that is that if he plays so good right off the bat, I'm not saying whether this will or won't happen, but if he plays so good off the bat that like people are already recognizing like we're building around him, we no longer actually care about these guys that
Sure.
could ruin them.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if they start to make the moves. I mean, honestly, like a team like Philly straight up does not deserve Cooper Flagg.
No, Philly
No.
does not deserve anyone for the rest of our
They
lifetime.
they spent
Until Joel Embiid is retired.
Yes.
Sure, yeah, that's fair
until
enough.
they
That's
restart the
fair.
process 2.0.
Yep.
and with someone new running the process because it's been just a disaster.
I mean, I do also think I would think Cooper Flagg would be fun in Brooklyn. I mean, big market,
Yeah.
I'm
could
not
be
as
the guy
convinced on
there.
Brooklyn as other people are. I think they're just too inconsistent.
a lot of cap space though.
Yeah,
Lot of cap space.
So if they actually do the right thing, kind of build around him, if he does pan out to be
Yeah.
So
next
no
big
matter
thing.
where he goes, when could he get a max extension? 2 years, 4 years? I don't know how that works.
4.
4
yeah.
years. So he would have to stay at this place for 4 years, and he can't be
Yes.
traded before then, right? He
So
can
you
he
can-
can start
you can still
being
get a
shopped.
He's
You can still get a
technically, yeah.
max,
Yep.
but the coveted thing is the super max.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
super max, you have to have like all NBA
But Supermax is
Yeah.
at 4, is it? Or is it 4?
4, but then you can negotiate. So
A
then you
fifth,
play
right?
on 5
Mhm.
your 5th year, and then
Okay.
after 5th year, it would kick in the super max of however long, 4 years, 5 years, whatever.
He's
you
one of
would end
those
up
guys where
signing
you
with.
have to build around. Like, yeah, you have a team he's going to come on to.
I
but
actually disagree with that.
He has the potential. You have to. Why
I think
wouldn't
all
you?
these teams that have the odds to get him need to build around him because they don't have anything ready to build around right now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's what I mean.
My point is his talents fit perfectly with they should fit perfectly with wherever you want to put him. Like if he went on a good team right now, I feel like he could improve them.
Yes. Oh,
Like,
for
he'd be
sure,
a
for
great-
sure.
Role player in his first few years, and he could still.
But the teams he's going to go on, though, you need to build around this guy. You need to somehow, some way. Okay, we have the first pick. Let's say Utah is the first pick. We have the first pick.
Utah definitely wouldn't need to.
Are they going to? They're going to draft him, and then they're like, okay, what do we do in the offseason to put people around him to make him better, but also their team better? I
know Matt pointed this out a little bit in this doc here, but I do think Washington's actually built up in a direction that would fit him pretty well, assuming everyone pans out the direction that they think they're going to for the people they have right now.
Yeah, they've got interesting pieces, and it seems like they actually have an adult as their head coach now. I just think that team, they're actually fun, but they're just young. And there's no precedent for them to actually win. This has been the plan. They are supposed to lose. Now, it would be interesting if there was, say, a team that was not in the lottery that wanted to take a big swing. They wanted to trade maybe their superstar to be able to get that first overall pick.
Where are you going with
This
this?
is scaring me because I have a feeling of what you're going to say. I hope I'm wrong
The Baby Blazers?
because it's not going to work.
I love my baby boy.
The
Blazers.
Baby Blazers have a chance, though. A
Very
Very
chance.
small chance.
Yeah, like
It's like 3% or something.
yeah, it's not a very high percent. Him on Portland would go crazy. Actually, him in Dallas would
Him
be
on
awesome
Portland's
as well.
where I think he could fit as. You could choose either direction. You could have him for the first few years be your kind of like role/star player,
3.7%.
use him as like we're going to move pieces around to build around him.
Honestly, if Milwaukee wants to blow this thing up,
Oh, that's actually.
Ooh.
Okay,
and
that's way better.
and they're like, you know what, this is not going to work. We need to get capital because if you guys are not aware, Milwaukee does not own their pick until the 2030s.
I did not know that.
Yes, so they are
because of the Dame and Giannis, all that stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
So they are in cap hell because they are paying Dame and Giannis like $110 million a year.
And they really need to blow it up.
They have traded all of their first-round picks because they mortgaged their future.
Yep.
Because they thought this was going to work, and it's not going to work.
The problem is for them to do that the right way, they almost have to blow things up to the point that you start getting the same concerns we had before of like, are you throwing them on such a trash situation that like...
I think if you're Washington and you get a call and you're like, we want to go Giannis first-round pick, you're gonna have to kick something else in to make the salaries work. Which they just did a trade, so maybe you get Chris Middleton back or something like that to save some cash. The way that would have to work is he would have to get traded to a team that has unlimited cap space. So like Brooklyn. So Brooklyn has an insane amount of cap space. Brooklyn gets the first pick, which would be like unprecedented with their percentage.
9% chance.
Like
that's actually not.
If they got it, and the Bucks just say, look, you got the first overall pick. We will trade you Giannis. You kick in 3 first-rounders, including that first overall pick. Let's make this happen. They get their reset. They get Cooper Flagg. They still have Dame to figure out whatever that is. And Brooklyn can just be like, we're in a new phase. We're actually going all in. I know it didn't work with KG and Paul Pierce, and it didn't work with Kevin Durant and James Harden and Kyrie Irving. But we're going for it, baby.
Speaking of Kyrie Irving, they have the lowest percent chance, but I actually would never want the Mavs to get the number 1 because I think he would fit perfectly there and it would scare the crap out of me.
I think that would immediately launch Dallas back into actually.
It would
being a
scare
real
me.
team.
I don't want
think
him.
It would be absolutely.
OKC
fantastic.
can already kick everybody's butt, so
Kyrie,
it's just funny if he goes there. But like.
Kyrie, Cooper,
Mavericks
and Anthony
are-
Davis.
that's
yeah,
basically
that would
what they
be
need.
dangerous.
It's almost what they're missing
let me
right
do
now.
a superstar temperature check for you guys. So
That'd be
you would
dangerous.
say yes or no to this. If this
All
is
right.
for the first overall pick, all right? I'm the Orlando Magic calling you. You're the Washington Wizards. You're the first overall pick, let's just say.
Mhm.
Paolo for first overall pick.
Like, were the Wizards here?
You're the Wizards. I'm calling you. I'm the Orlando Magic. I called you. You didn't call me. But I'm going to say that you called me.
How
Paolo.
old is Paulo now?
27?
Like same age as my son.
Younger. He's younger.
He's like
No,
he's like
23.
21,
So
20
he's young.
Yeah, he's very young. Yeah. Paolo.
No.
No? Okay.
I wouldn't be mad either way. Like,
How about-
you could go either way.
How
but
about I'm the Miami Heat calling you Bam for the number 1 overall pick?
no?
No.
But Bam's also older than.
Yeah.
He's still
He is.
young-ish, but he's like in his prime right now.
You want a crazy one? Steph Curry.
No, too old.
You saying no to that? Oh, someone.
I'm saying I'm raising my eyebrows to that.
Someone saying
You know what I'm doing? I'm hanging up and saying no way, and then I'm calling you back in about 5 minutes. Being like,
Paulo's-
what else can we do?
Paulo's
Uh-huh.
the best one
Okay.
of those.
What,
Paulo would make more sense out of the other two, but
okay, but I got you thinking.
It gives
got
you
me
a
thinking.
guaranteed good player to build around, whereas Cooper Flagg is probably going to be a great player, but there's no proof yet.
How about Anthony Davis?
No.
no,
No. Okay.
no.
No.
And to go off what Trevor just said, there's no proof yet, but he has. He's shown himself a little bit in the NBA style of play, which is what teams are going to go off of, and they're like, okay, he can hoop, he can stick with these guys.
Yeah, I
'Cause those are
believe
the
that
best-
he
those are
can.
the best
All
players
I'm
in the
saying is
world
the
at the
players that he's
Olympics.
playing with, though, are these guys that, like, during those types of scenarios, I don't know whether they were or weren't, but they might not be playing their top-notch defense because they just don't really care.
Ooh, I would have to disagree with you on the Olympic level stuff. I want to say they're messing. I want to say they're playing a lot harder than they do in the NBA.
How about
For the-
like
for
I
the-
said,
for
I'm not
America,
making a
for the
claim,
USA stuff.
I'm not making a claim either way. I'm just saying it could be the case.
Yeah.
how about Jaylen Brown?
Yes.
Yes.
Jason Tatum?
No.
Oh, that's pretty quick.
No.
That's
Which is surprising for you.
it's pretty decisive.
I don't like Jason Tatum that much.
Wow.
I think
All
Jalen
right.
Brown's a lot better than Jason Tatum in my
I'm surprised you
personal
didn't flip
opinion.
that.
How about like a?
Oh
like
well,
a-
I know what you mean.
How about Amin Thompson?
Ahmed Thompson was fun
He needs
to watch.
to get a shot.
He does. He has no jumper.
If he could prove that he had a jumper,
But
then
for
yes,
what you
but
were
no.
saying-
Future MVP
What-
Amin Thompson.
Your hot take
if he
about
ever can
that?
shoot,
Cade Cunningham.
he looks nice.
Ah.
That would be tempting.
I would be the Ahmed Thompson.
I think I might do the
is
Cade
nice.
Cunningham.
Because you okay, you do Halliburton in a minute, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, you would do
yeah.
if he
Tyrese.
continues the way he's
Oh, for
going
sure.
right now.
Donovan Mitchell.
He did have a couple injuries though. Donovan, I don't remember where he's at in his age either, but probably
He
depends what pieces you
Okay.
have. Like you're the Wizards. though.
You're the Washington Wizards. You got the number 1 overall pick. I called you,
I probably would still take Mitchell.
and I said I've got.
I'd take
take
Mitchell.
I'd
You
take Mitchell.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, no doubt about that one. I would easily take Anthony
Okay.
Edwards. That
All right.
man, two-way wise, like his defense is elite.
Someone's quiet on the beanbag chair.
My
He's
thought
just
with
rude.
Cooper, he's
Someone's
gonna
quiet.
play. He's gonna play on this team for 4 years, and then he's gonna get traded. No matter what team he's on, he's gonna play on it for 4 years, and he's gonna get traded.
Because he is going to be unhappy and force a trade?
No, because I think the team is gonna figure out that they can get a lot from someone else,
Sure.
and it'll go to a like mid-level contender.
Okay.
Or if someone really wants to shake up the pool, they can go to a high-level contender and get a lot more, and then rebuild or continue to rebuild that way. Washington and Utah and whoever else, you say they might make the playoffs. Well, you said Washington might.
I would say Washington.
Washington.
I don't think
Utah
I don't
won't.
think
Utah
would.
won't.
I think Washington's the best setup to get him, just because they also had the number one last year, who's actually looking
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, Sar looks pretty good.
So-
I think he's a solid player, and
Yeah, and I
Wouldn't
think
take a
that
lot from
combination could
Cooper.
work really nicely between the two of them.
wow.
I'm just excited to watch him in the NBA. I think he's going to be a good player. He's 6'9". He's a wing. He can do pretty much anything.
Well, Matt's taking the easy way out. Do you take any of those trades?
Yeah. Who do you take?
I would take a handful of them. Yeah.
Which ones are the most exciting ones out of those?
I'm
Or which ones would you shut down that we might have said yes to?
I'm definitely doing the Giannis one.
Oh, I didn't even know Giannis was in. I didn't remember
Well,
saying
like
anything Giannis.
like a Giannis.
oh,
would-
if the
would you
Bucks
do-
blew up, yeah,
Yeah, if
he,
they
he
decide
did
to
say the
blow
Bucks
it up.
one.
yeah.
I would have to think long and hard about the Anthony Edwards one. I would have dinner. I would have a meeting with my team. I'd be like, guys,
You would
what-
sit down
what
with
do we think
A-Rod
here?
and Lori and be like,
I would sit down with A-Rod and Lori and be like, fellas, what do we think hypothetically here?
you know who they did show? Totally random. You know who they did show on the big screen yesterday? Kevin Garnett from like 1991, just
Yeah.
hyping up the crowd. I'm like, that photo and that video would never
Like,
been
how
up
long
there.
has this been how long ago was this
that
made?
was in the archives.
Yeah.
A-Rod was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, we're gonna bring this out. We're gonna bring this out."
I think if I was a team with bad cap space, like if, let's say, the 76ers call, ring, ring.
Who the heck are you about to grab? Don't make this
Washington
mistake.
Wizards, how would you like Joel Embiid for the number one overall pick?
Trevor just threw up the earthquake in his
Let
mouth.
me tell you this. I would do it.
Oh,
I would do it.
you hesitate on Edwards and you go for Joel and
I would do it. I would do it.
Oh my goodness, you're just making the Mavericks all over again.
Oh my!
I don't know, but this is part of the problem. Is like for Wemby, I'm telling you this. I would probably take all those trades for a chance at Wemby, but Cooper Flagg is not Wemby.
No.
That's
There is
very
a
different
tier
story.
difference between them.
Yeah.
And Wemby also was like playing overseas, proven against
Right.
talent that like
Yeah.
you
Right.
kind of know the level that you're getting.
But that's what I'm saying. Like as good as we think Cooper Flagg is, and how he will translate to the NBA, I still view him as a little bit below what some of these other prospects have been over the years. But
Not very many though.
I also thought Zion was going to be like baby LeBron, and
I
he just having babies instead of.
He was the definition of getting put in that situation. They ran him into the ground. Well, he got hurt. He got hurt.
I don't
He's-
know if
he got
they ran him into the ground. He
Oh.
kind of
Well, he ran
destroyed his
himself
own
into the
career,
ground, but
too.
also-
all that gumbo
But even when he
going
was
straight to that ass.
even when he was a rookie, he got hurt right away because he was so dynamic. I don't know how he stayed healthy.
He
It's because
Also,
he's 320
he's
pounds
way
and he's doing
smaller
windmill
than he
dunks.
plays though. Like
Yes,
True.
his
He's-
actual height is not.
he's built
like 6'6"
he's
or
built like
something.
a square.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like there's nothing dynamic about him. He has like a small wingspan, and he's just should have been a left tackle instead.
And he's got
my.
that same problem. Who was I bringing up about your Amon Thompson trade? If both of those guys could get jump shots, like they'd be pretty unstoppable.
Future MVP.
I agree with your
Amon Thompson.
I agree with your MVP take. I would say 2 years. If he can
See?
shoot,
He just
he's
yeah.
nice.
I'm telling you guys.
He's nice.
I'm telling he is a monster.
Yeah, I think it 100% depends on him getting a jump shot, but I think that's reasonable to expect that he can develop it.
Cooper next year.
We're hopeful.
I'm not
Us-
saying he's
us
going to
on-
pop threes or
Us
something.
on
He's just
Amon
gonna
Thompson Island, we are hopeful.
Yeah.
Our stock portfolio is looking very rich.
So do you make that trade then? You do?
Oh yeah, I make that trade. Yes, or I am not impartial here.
I'm still
like,
confused
I love,
on your. So yeah, the interesting part to me there is that you love that trade, but in
Yes.
my mind, he is very similar to Anthony Edwards.
right, but I have more scar tissue with
Without a
Anthony
jump
Edwards.
shot and without a not as quick first step though. Anthony Edwards, I think, is.
I have watched.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's
Quadruple
the
the
guy
amount
that's
of
going to
games.
be like Anthony Edwards if
he
he can
could
get his shot.
potentially be there.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I got you.
I have seen enough Anthony Edwards games in my lifetime to know what this man is about and how he will play for the rest of his career.
Still young.
Got it. Yeah. No, I know he's still young.
He's got
But
Maybe
those,
he'll be consistent one day.
he's got those
Okay.
rubber ankles.
You know what, man? For the sake of our team, the future champion Timberwolves, I hope so.
Hey, if we get one championship, we don't care.
Oh, it doesn't matter, man.
It
Doesn't
doesn't matter
matter.
after that.
You people people don't even get it. Like what I would
Before-
do to get a championship. You guys have no clue.
We're gonna keep that off the podcast. I don't want
No,
to get into
no,
those
no.
details.
Keep it on the
need it.
podcast.
Before we jump into playoff basketball, which we are going to get into the thick of it, Cooper next year, 18-5-5. I think that's what he's going to go for. I think that's what he's going to average. I think he's going to come in and make a difference on whatever team he plays on.
I think it depends where he
18-5
goes, but if he
5.
goes to the Wizards, I could see 18-5.
18-5.
Oh,
5.
that's definitely doable. If
Yeah.
he's on the 76ers, no.
No.
He won't.
Well,
he won't
can't
touch
be
the
on
ball on the
76ers, though.
76ers.
He could.
If they
It's
How are
top
they gonna-
it's top 6 protected.
6. Yeah.
Okay.
So if they got the number 1 overall pick, it'd be fine. If
Yeah.
it's 7 or
7 or lower.
higher or lower, however you want to look at it,
Oh, okay.
then
That makes way more
Yeah.
sense. I thought you were saying that if it was 7 or higher, they get it. And I'm like, how
No.
the heck does that?
okay, it's higher in number,
Yeah.
lower
No, I get it.
in
I get it. I
draft
get it.
order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes so much more sense.
I like Coop. He's going to do his thing. Let's jump right into playoff basketball. It's been wild. Wild.
Just
Especially
Does anyone
this-
know? Is
especially
this the
the
first
second
time
round.
that all the higher seeds lost, or has this happened before?
No, it hasn't happened before.
we can ask the guys in research, but I don't think so.
No.
I don't.
Yeah, I
I
don't
can't
think so, man.
imagine it would have, but
No, It's just
Not just losing, blowing 20 to 15 point leads. And then losing.
sloppy, inconsistent, gross basketball. That's what it's been.
Yeah.
Just gross basketball.
I mean,
every
in fairness,
single one of these
I'm
series.
not taking away from sloppy and gross, but some of the defenses have been actually fairly solid.
Yes, okay,
Causing
yes.
sloppy basketball, but yes.
But the lack of plays being run and the actual shot attempts and the shot
So
creation
gross.
and watching guys just absolutely trip over their own feet to make any sort of a play is astounding. I'm not trying to take anything away from the defenses of the Pacers, the Knicks. I guess you can say the Warriors or the Timberwolves or the Nuggets or the Thunder, whatever. But this is bad basketball.
Well, it looks like they forgot everything they learned from fourth grade, the fundamentals of how to play a game of basketball.
I feel like half of these guys were so talented in that level, they just didn't even care.
They never listened.
They
to
never
what
learned
they
or
actually
listened to
needed.
anything.
Yeah.
They didn't have to, man.
They're just like, okay, I'm 5'6" already in
Well,
fourth grade.
it
I'm
would
just gonna
certainly
go
help
and
them
do
right
whatever
now.
I want.
Yeah.
Let's start out with the two biggest question marks in my mind: Celtics and Cavs. What's
Those are your
going on
biggest question marks?
right now?
Oh, I would
The
definitely say
Cavs
so.
are definitely the biggest question mark.
Why wouldn't the Celtics be?
I
We can
think-
get into the Celtics. I don't want to get ahead of
The
ourselves.
Celtics
I don't want
just need to learn fourth grade fundamentals. That when you miss a million shots in the same location.
Okay, we're starting with the Celtics.
The Celtics,
25
man,
for 100. Take it away, Matt, before I get here and start going old man on the front porch yelling at people.
I'm gonna have to join you on that front porch, man,
Yeah,
because
everyone's on the
I
front porch
just
there.
I don't understand. Well, I do understand. I do understand this aspect of you live and die by the three.
Yes.
It's the worst decision.
And during the regular season, I knew they shot a lot of threes, and I didn't think they lived and died by it as much as they are now. It is ridiculous. It's nuts. It's truly living and
The
dying.
live and die aspect should not be live and die. It should be live by the three when it's going well and stop shooting the three when it's not.
It's the complacency. It's the we're up by a lot of points, so we're just kind of dribble it, and then we're gonna do an ISO to a horrible
They get
20-foot
lazy.
shot,
They get lazy.
and then just allowing the Knicks to do whatever they want. The Celtics are shooting 35% from the field and 25 of 100 from three.
100.
They are making 1/4 of their shots.
They shot 60 in game 2.
Jalen, and this isn't even we're missing some pieces. You guys can make the Porzingis arguments of him being sick and having all these health problems for most of the year, whatever. It doesn't explain to me how the rest of them have all crapped the bed. It doesn't Kristaps Porzingis was not that much of a floor stretcher for the team that he opened up all of these avenues, and you can't even run an offense through Porzingis.
No.
So
He was just someone who was good on the floor that they used the right way.
But Tatum, Brown, and Derek White are all averaging 42 minutes per game.
Mhm.
They are in the game.
Let me hear it.
The
Let me hear it.
entire time. They were up by 20 with 30 minutes left in the game in the second game, and they just squandered it. When you look at the stats, and this is the overall thing for this entire playoffs, except for I would say the Thunder and the Nuggets, the stats. The production, the rebounds, the free throw attempts, the steals, the turnovers, the blocks, whatever, there isn't that wide of a margin between any of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
It's Celtics, Cavs, Pacers, whatever. There isn't this mountain gap. I look at the stats to be able to say, okay, look at that specific thing. That explains why this team would shoot threes this poorly. Indiana was not a good team defending the three-point line this year. They were mediocre at best. It does not explain why Cleveland, a great three-point shooting team, is doing this poorly. I mean, look, they've had Garland and Hunter and Mobley out and whatever, but Donovan Mitchell. I know I'm getting into Cavs talk here, but
That's fine. Get into
but
both of them. 'Cause it's
Donovan
the
Mitchell
same-
is averaging 40+ points per game right now.
Yeah.
He's killing these teams. Flip side for the Celtics, bringing it right back, guys. Jason Tatum looks like he's never shot a basketball before.
I actually do think, though, that Porzingis missing plays a bigger role than you think. it shouldn't, but I think it does. And the only reason being that if you pass the ball into the middle anytime, you're hoping that at least a few defenders drop in, you get more open threes rather than like taking these contested absolute. And I get that your point was that some of these are not even atrocious shots; they're just missing wide open shots. And sure, that's part of basketball. If you're shooting bad, you're shooting bad.
They are, but they're taking 25 feet is how far the 3-point line is from the basket, right? They're taking 30-foot 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Contested.
Yes. 30-foot 3-pointers, and they're taking 60 of them.
The only person in the NBA that is allowed to do that whenever he wants to do that, however he wants to do that, is Curry.
Yeah.
Dante DiVincenzo would disagree.
Well,
DiVincenzo did play well last night, and it was fun to watch.
We'll get to that train wreck
We
later.
will.
Let's stay
We
in the
will.
East.
Yeah.
Let's stay in the East.
I don't know Cleveland what's going. Maybe they have the same issue with they're not getting it.
Three of their main
shots
guys.
too, though,
Three of their main guys are banged up.
But
Yeah,
there's
but I was
But it
wondering
shouldn't matter. You would think so much with an Indiana team, but
Well, I'm just sick
It
of
is the
any
second
team that
round.
puts 5 on the outside and they literally don't even go to the inside like at all. Like,
Yeah.
why are you jacking up? That's how the Timberwolves lost their first game too. Let's just sit on the outside and do
Yeah.
nothing.
and we're whining about these higher seeds and the way that they're playing, right?
Yeah.
Cleveland and Celtics, because all of us here had them, one of those teams representing in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
I had Cleveland. You guys had the Celtics.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd be very happy if most of them lose.
the Celtics are still favored to win the series.
The Celtics are
Yeah.
still favored to win the series. The Cavs are not
No,
favored to
they're
win the
not
series,
anymore.
despite them being up by quite a bit. But, like, it is pretty incredible what the Pacers and the Knicks are doing.
Mhm.
Like, they're just playing average basketball.
Well,
like,
did you see that the Pacers
They
are
are.
rotating 11 people?
yeah, they're nuts.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, they're crazy. Carlisle will be like, what white guy do I have on my bench? I'm going to throw him out there. He's going to get clutch minutes for me.
They
And they're
need
all
to.
scoring too.
Yes.
They need to because they need to truly play as a team. They don't have a true isolator. No
They're
matter
playing
what you
that,
say
like-
about Tyler Halliburton,
Yeah.
he is not a true isolation player. He is a very fast, make play, pass the ball, shoot well when he shoots well.
It's that annoying high school team that you
Yes.
play that
Yes.
presses all game, every game, and they just rotate everyone in when they're tired. Like,
Hockey
what they
change,
are.
hockey change,
Yeah.
hockey change.
Exactly.
But you alluded to it. They've got 4 guys averaging 18 plus points per game.
yeah.
They got 4 guys doing that.
And-
That's wild. They're actually a
And it's
complete
not
team.
even always the same guys. Like, they rotate out who's one of those 4.
They're,
Sometimes.
they're 52% from the field, and they're 46% from 3 in the series. The Pacers are. They're just playing flat out better.
Yeah.
Well, what doesn't make sense to me, though, is Cleveland is obviously outperforming them in the beginning. And then they just blow it.
They just blow it. But also, look back at what the Cavs are doing. 26% from 3 in the series. They're 1% better than the Celtics are right now. And we're harping on the Celtics as this 3-point barrage team. And the Cavs, they go deep on their bench, too. They don't...
They with their few players out, I think they've only been
They've
6, 7 people right
they've
now.
they've had they've had to shore up the rotation a little bit better, but you got to give it up to the Pacers, man. You know, when they made the Eastern Conference Finals last year, I was like, what in the world is this team?
And we doubted them this year too. Well,
And
actually,
I definitely
someone
doubted
didn't. I don't remember who it was.
Oh, I definitely doubted
I
them.
doubted
that
him.
was Jameson, so it wasn't anyone here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I doubted him.
Okay.
Shout out to Jameson. You were right. The Pacers
Fuck
are good.
Jameson, man. He's not even here right
Happy
now.
birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, apparently. Anyways, just the Pacers, like, actually being like a real team. Like, that's
You
That's-
said it right
that's
there.
kind of
Real
wild.
team.
a real
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Real ball movement, real plays.
Yeah.
Rick Carlisle is a dog. I thought that dude was cooked after Dallas. And they actually play a complete
Man.
game. And I thought, and
We
this is
just
why
need Matt to say the
this-
Timberwolves are going to blow up, and then the next year we'll win the championship.
oh, I just need to. But I just like, and that's why I thought the Cavs were going to be the team to make it out of the East, because that's what they have been doing all year.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell doesn't play more than 33 minutes in a game, even in this playoff series. They stretch guys out. They rotate people out. They don't prioritize like this guy, that guy, anything like that. But they're just not playing as a
Well,
team.
their problem right now is Mitchell's the only one putting a ball in the basket.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So, like,
That was their
again,
problem last year too when they lost.
like go back to the Knicks here we're gonna go back to the Knicks here for a second.
Yep.
they're playing dudes like crazy. And this is the Tom Thibodeau way
Tom Thibb.
of
Yeah.
And those guys are
driving
holding their own.
these
They're doing pretty good.
driving
right now, so.
these men into the ground until there is nothing left of them. Mikal Bridges is averaging 46.9 minutes per game. If you're keeping track at home, there are 48 minutes in a basketball game.
Yeah.
He is coming out for 1.1 minutes of this series. Cat is the only starter that is below 40 minutes, and that's because when they're bringing Mitchell Robinson in for about 20 minutes a game, he's actually effective.
Yeah.
I will say, as tough as that is on the players, if there's a series you need to do it, it's probably the Celtics.
I mean, again, the Tom Thibodeau way is you're going to die trying.
Yeah.
You're going to get out there and just grind yourself to nothing.
Mikal Bridges has been the key for the New York Knicks in that series.
It's
it is
crazy.
unreal.
It's crazy.
Unreal.
And now it makes sense why they gave up 6 first-round picks for him.
I didn't.
I don't think it was 6. I think it was like
not,
4,
but
but
still.
still. It's just disgusting. But it's crazy. The Brunson is only averaging 23 points per game, and that doesn't seem like a lot to me. And Cat is averaging 17 points per game and 15 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Porzingis comes back. Maybe that is actually a difference in like Cat's production.
Do you think, to add on to that, though, that Brunson is contributing to a lot of the points, though? Because if I remember right, he has quite a few assists, too, doesn't he, this
Yeah.
series?
Yeah, he's
'Cause
playing really,
So
really
he's
well.
involved in a lot of the scoring.
They're-
Because he's actually getting downhill when he actually wants to drive by people, and then he
Yeah.
kicks or does
And
something.
and maybe little stats nerd in me can just point to this as the statistical difference between why the Knicks are up 2-0 in this series. 42% from the field, 38% from 3. 38 so-so from 3, whatever. They're 22 of 73 though from 3.
the Knicks are?
Yes, not 25 of 100.
The actual most mind-blowing part of that is that they've only won by 3.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
2 and 3 and... What was the first game? Was it also 3?
Yeah, I
It
think
was like 3 and 4
Yeah.
or 3 and 3. Yeah.
Yeah. That's insane. That
So-
you're shooting that bad and you're barely losing the games.
so. It's just sloppy and consistent. It's so
it's
hard to
sloppy
get an
basketball.
understanding. Right now, we've got Cleveland, Indiana on. Cleveland's up by 20, which is the worst apparently thing that you could be up by.
Yeah.
20 late in the third. And I was saying this at the Timberwolves game last night. We were up 20 late in the third, and I'm like, well, I don't want to see.
They brought
start-
it back to 5 or something
did.
right after you said that.
They did, and then it got back up to 20 again, and that's Timberwolves talking. We'll get to that. But last thing on the Celtics, and we can move on. You know what it reminds me of? You remember when you were trying to delay, and because there's no shot clock in high school basketball or
Right.
like younger
Oh,
basketball.
when you waste all your time.
when
so
you
then
did the weave up on top,
I hated that because people always would
That's-
come back because you're not scoring.
that is literally what the Celtics are doing, but what they're doing is throwing up 30-foot threes.
Yeah,
They're
especially
not
if you did the
weaving.
weave until you had to just throw it away.
And half of their threes are coming off when they're up 20 or 15. They're coming with 10 to 12 seconds left in the shot clock. Granted, you don't want to waste the whole 24 seconds every single time, but waste time. Waste time, get in there, draw a foul. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
But
They're playing tomorrow at 2:30. I think we win by 20. It's okay.
I was going to say, but you're still taking Celtics in the series.
I'm taking Celtics in 7.
Trevor.
I'm taking the Celtics. I'm just trying to think how many it'd be. I mean, they have to go 6 or 7 now, so I could easily see them winning the next
anything
4.
for you if I say teams that go up 2-0 win the best of 7 series 85% of the time?
But
So-
they're not usually the Knicks and the Celtics. Of
Saw
this
that
year.
stat. Saw that stat. Yeah.
I got Celtics, and I still have faith in my Cavs. I'll go down with the ship.
All right.
Let me sink with the Titanic. I'll play off with the rest of the boys.
Love it.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next series. Timberwolves and Golden State, and then Oklahoma City and the Nuggets. What do we got there, boys?
OKC quickly because there's
We-
not much to say
I was
here.
going to say, we
Yeah,
might as well
true.
just get through it.
Yeah.
So,
Matt, you said it
it's
perfectly.
over.
They played with their food in the first game, and
Yeah.
then they blew them out by what, 25?
43.
Yeah.
Oh, they won by 43?
43.
Yeah.
So
So 25 was
That's
just
why I
like
said
at
the
halftime.
series is over.
there's
they're done playing.
The steamroll effect is going to destroy the Nuggets in such a terrible way that the Nuggets are going to rethink having a franchise in the NBA.
Jokic having 42, he's going to need like 85 now to win
he's,
a game.
he's going to have to average at least 36 points per game to
Oh,
be
yeah.
able to be
with 20
competitive in this.
rebounds and probably like almost 10 assists too.
Yes.
And I just like, again, the Thunder had Alex Caruso had 20 points off the bench in that game 1 loss,
Crusoe.
and they still lost, which is crazy. I would have never been like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never thought that. But that game one, you might as well just chalk up as nothing. It was just an anomaly.
Yeah, I agree.
They win by 43. Here's just some fun plus-minus if you guys are curious. Not the most reliable stat, but I do really like it. So, in game two, Jokic was minus 36. Murray was minus 34. Gordon was also minus 36. Christian Brown was minus 40. Porter Jr. was minus 25 because he didn't get to play that much. And Russell Westbrook was minus 30. I don't think I've ever seen that before. It's usually like you're minus like 8 if you play badly.
I mean, but if you lose by 43, it's like it's because you don't see that many people lose by 43 that you don't see.
But on the flip side, Shea was plus 51. I don't think I've ever seen that either. And the Thunder came out and they're like, we're not losing again.
No.
And that's why I think they're going to win it all, man.
They're not going to lose again. Well, they're not going to lose again in this series. And who knows? They played. I watched most of that game. They handled their business.
He missed 2 shots.
Almost effortlessly, too. It looked like, oh, this is pretty easy now.
They're wrapping this up in 5 games.
I also agree.
Yeah, this is an absolute wrap.
I think there might be one more close game, but like I think most of these are going to be like, don't even bother watching this series. Like, what's the point?
When they get Cooper Flagg, they're just going to ruin everybody. They're gonna break the Warriors win record.
Well, now that I understand what you were saying about the pick, they can't really get him. They would have to trade to get him. Then.
They would have to trade to get him.
But then they would have 3 first-round picks in this draft. They could move up if they wanted to, or 2.
Yeah,
2 or 3.
Sure, yeah.
So
that would be freaking wild.
Plus, they could probably dangle 2 more picks, or I don't know, 10 more picks, whatever they want.
You better not make this trade because you're ruining everybody.
I was gonna say, do you think all the other NBA like owners would be like, we're gonna have to kill the Washington Wizards?
The commissioner's gonna shut down that trade like they did with Chris Paul and Kobe back in the day.
Adam Silver's gonna step in and say, you can't trade 10 first-round picks, OKC, for Cooper Flagg.
That might actually happen if they win the championship. Like, it's just
I would be thinking that. So yeah,
get
Thunder,
out your popcorn.
Shocker, you guys, they're pretty good.
Yeah,
and the Nuggets, pretty bad.
Let's get into the hometown series.
You guys can start with this.
We were at the game last night, Trevor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. Playoff basketball live is very, very different.
It's way better.
It is way, way better.
People are actually involved in it, like the whole game.
Yep.
It's nice.
Talk about before we get into statistics and stuff. Man, they were on Draymond Green the whole time. Which I have some statements about Draymond Green later, but
I feel like that's like
the team, the
The
arena.
fans were
the crowd?
so loud.
Well,
every time Butler touched it, boos.
Yeah,
every
which
time
makes sense.
Draymond touched it, it was
Well, it wasn't
you
even
suck.
touched. He just like wasn't even in the gym, and everyone's just Draymond sucks.
Yeah.
well, you guys probably didn't see this because you were actually at the game, but unfortunately, there was a couple fans that got kicked out because of some racism towards Draymond.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Behind the bench?
Yes.
So that's what he was going after.
Okay,
Yes.
that makes
So that's
more
what he
sense
was
of why
talking.
complaining.
Okay.
Yes. So there was
Okay.
some pretty horrible comments being made by.
And since
some
we're on the
fans.
Draymond comment, I'll say this: Draymond's growing on me a little bit. Does he over-exaggerate some things? Yes. Is he portrayed as the villain in the NBA right now? Yes. But he's a damn good, intelligent basketball player with a championship mentality. Like, you have to be kooky and you have to be a certain type of person to be able to handle everything he handles. And still be able to perform
over the top of a lot of things, but I know that that's like another.
He does, and that's his thing, though. Like I'm not saying yeah, he does, and he does it quite a bit.
You don't have to throat punch someone.
No,
just
like last night's technical on Naz Reid. Naz Reid got his arm, stripped him, but got his arm. Personal foul, easy call, and he loses the ball and smacks him in the head. That's a lot. And then Draymond acting like he didn't do anything, which everyone clearly saw. Like, dude.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know. Playing against him would be horrible.
I do.
If he was on my team, I would be talking his ass up so much. Yeah, get him.
I will admit he is a very smart, good basketball player, especially for a guy who doesn't really have a scoring role at all. And like,
no.
But everything goes so much smoother when he's out there.
Yeah. Matt?
Man, I'm just like cracking my knuckles over here.
Yeah.
Look, I saw some of his comments after the game and him talking about how the media and I hate this blanket term media if we ever want to get into pet peeves on word choices, because
Pet peeve segment
Hey,
coming
you
at
chose
you later.
the word this time.
man, I know, but this was what he was talking about after the game, and I do have to acknowledge it because it is probably something that he's been feeling for a very long time, of that he is now being cast as this stereotypical angry black man.
Yeah, I saw that today on Get Up. I did.
And
They
you
were
know what?
talking about it.
You know what? He is right to speak out about that, and I am not a person who should be like, he's wrong.
Yeah.
As a white guy that has never dealt with anything that he has dealt with,
Yeah.
he is absolutely correct. It doesn't mean that I can't complain about the way that he lashes out and the way that you see it on the court.
I was gonna say, yeah,
He's
correct
literally
about some of the things that they're saying about him, but like,
But how does he get the opportunity to point in refs' faces,
yeah,
cuss them out? And you know what? I'm not a lips reader type of guy,
Cuss him
but I
out for
can
like
see it.
3-4 minutes.
So
Last night,
why does he
went
get the
off.
pass? Why does he get the pass for this? And this is what
it's not
always
even
been.
just that. It's like he also gets passes on some of these things, like hitting other players and stuff. And it's like, if the same player does this every single time and nobody else is doing it, clearly there's like excessive force from this guy.
And more than anything, it's a way of manipulating the rules of basketball and the way that the game is played.
Yep.
That drives me the most crazy. And, you know, people talk referentially about like the bad boy Pistons and like those teams that were so tough, and you drive down the lane and we're gonna undercut you. We're gonna put a forearm into the back
Jordan
of your
rules.
head, and like, yes, the Michael Jordan rules, all that kind of stuff. And you know, your dad, I feel the fake tough guy thing coming out of me right now.
I love
like,
it.
Your dad talking about this, about like the new NBA, and to an extent he is correct, and like it is fake tough kind of stuff going on. But like, that's not good basketball.
No.
And it's lame.
That's
and
actually
it's
what I hated
way
in the Warriors Houston series. They're
Yeah.
getting so. I don't mind chippy, but when you get to the point that you're not even playing basketball, you're just throwing punches and stuff. Like, we're not even.
But
watching
you're trying to
basketball.
dictate that the way the game is going to be called, and you're trying to control that aspect, because if you get away with things in the beginning, you're going to get away for the rest. So you might as well just push it as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
The Warriors were fledgling. Draymond lashed out the way that we have seen time and time and time again.
Yep.
And people who have done similar stuff to him, like Ron Artest, any of those bad boy Piston guys,
Mm-hmm.
like we've seen this before. We've seen the type of lashing out, and we can say championship defenders, like guys that you would want on your team, all that kind of stuff. It's such a double standard for guys like that to be able to get away with it. And I have the same energy towards Luka and LeBron flopping as I do towards Draymond and his flopping. But but they're different.
See, with Draymond's stuff, like, I am okay if you want to be kind of the enforcer role, go ahead, but do not complain when they call you out on it. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna get your fouls. Let's just, like, they should be calling those fouls and technicals and
When
flagrants.
you say call them out on it, though, do you mean like when the refs call them out on it, or when the media?
refs.
Media.
No,
Yeah, see?
we don't need to get
Or
into this
the
media.
blanket
Like,
term.
I'm not getting into the
And-
media part.
And that's the thing. It's like I agree with Matt. There's no. Draymond was right to come out and say that, like, they are stereotyping him into that role of, oh, you're this guy in the NBA that is just an absolute whatever it is. And I think that's wrong by all media, like just all people in general. So like Matt mentioned earlier, the people who potentially got kicked out of the Timberwolves game, there's no place for that at all.
No,
But
not
it's
at all.
like basketball's a physical game. You don't need to punch people though.
Yeah, I wasn't going
you
towards
don't
the
need to
media
punch
approach.
people.
I was just saying that the ref should call him for the fouls he does, and he shouldn't have to complain about those because he knows he's doing them.
Yes.
Like, that's all I'm saying. If you're
Yeah.
going to do the fouls, don't complain later when you get called by the ref.
Even something smaller, like, again, we've got the Indiana game, Cleveland game on right now. Darius Garland full force pushing a guy
Oh yeah.
before the ball is even inbounded to get his fourth foul in the second quarter is like, that's idiotic.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Like, that's completely idiotic. To me, that is at the similar level of flopping and the fake injury crap and all of that
It's
drives
all that
me absolutely
stuff they
crazy.
said they were going to find, and they did for like 2 weeks, and then they never did again.
Right. No,
Yeah.
Nope, never do. Never
Yeah.
will. But if you have a collection of players like Steven Adams talking about how Draymond, on multiple occasions, has kicked him in the balls.
Yeah.
Steven Adams is a great guy.
And Steven Adams,
Great guy.
who rocks,
He was
and everybody loves him.
He was giving Jimmy Butler a hug when he was getting into a
That
little
was
scuffle with someone else.
hilarious. Yeah, and Jimmy didn't even care.
No.
And like him being very mild mannered, like funny, like goofy kind of guy.
Yeah.
To be like, why would I like Draymond?
Yeah.
He has kicked me in the balls twice.
Yeah.
Unreasonable, not necessary. We saw him choke Rudy Gobert when there was a fight between Klay Thompson and Jaden McDaniels.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
He came out of nowhere.
Can't
doesn't
defend
matter.
yourself on that one.
Punching Yusuf Nurkic, stomping on LeBron's balls in the finals,
Yeah.
Multiple
getting
times.
getting suspended for the next game, and them choking that series. This is
swinging,
the pattern.
swinging,
of things.
swinging on Nas last night. Like
Yeah.
when the ball got stripped out of his hands with a very extra motion
Which
to
he
his
did that
head,
like 2-3 times in the previous series.
to his
too.
head and neck.
And he's got 5 techs. So if
Yeah.
he gets
Yeah.
2 more, then he has to sit out a game. Like,
Honestly,
that's
he
the
should
stuff. How
he
do you
should have
not
got
know?
he should have got 2 back-to-back techs, because for him to do that, they called the tech, which was the right way. They called a personal foul on Nas, and then they called the tech on Draymond. But then he went off for 3 to 4 minutes, like
Yes,
in
that's
the
what I mean.
both refs' face.
As a team, though, you got to be so mad at him. Like, it's like, dude, you're clearly a vital piece of our team.
Yeah.
We need you on the court,
Yes.
and you're doing this crap.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah,
Curry's out for game 2, 3, and 4, and he's going out there pulling that crap. Jimmy Butler is not looking for a shot, and maybe this is the best transition into the Timberwolves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
now
get
that
into
we
it.
finally get to where we were supposed to be in the first
But
place.
like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde-ness of both of these teams, where in game 1, Timberwolves score 31 points in the first half, the lowest in franchise history, not playoff history, franchise
31
history.
They had 29 in
Shooting
the first
17%
quarter last
from
game.
3, and they lose by 11. But then in game 2, in the first quarter, they score 29 points.
29,
They
yeah.
come out guns blazing. They even hold the Warriors
Personally,
to
I think
39 points in the first half.
I think it's less so Jekyll and Hyde, and it was more so our first game was just ignore it. It should not happen again.
I know, but okay, Timberwolves bad in that first game, but the Warriors were actually finding their shots. They're actually moving the ball.
Yeah.
They're creating some plays. But then
Losing
they
Steph.
completely run away from that in game 2.
Losing Steph hurts a lot.
Not bad enough for them to fucking lose the first game.
Their team, okay, this is just my opinion, but they have 3 players and the rest are garbage that are just wide open and can hit a wide open shot.
They looked pretty
They
good
have-
against the Timberwolves, man.
They have Steph, they have Butler, and they have Draymond. And then the rest of their guys are, hey, can you hit a warm-up shot if we take all of the defenders with us?
I would put Buddy Hield above Draymond. I honestly,
Buddy
I don't
Hield-
think Draymond does anything. He's out there to play defense
He
and
facilitates. He doesn't score.
cause ruckus. You're right. He doesn't score, but I
but
don't
he's still a
think
threat of like. He makes a difference on the court. Is what all I'm like when he's playing offense.
I
too.
got you. Them without Steph, and Butler said it perfectly. The game is hard to play with Steph is not out there, because what do? They only have to concentrate on 2 people.
The game is hard to play when Jimmy Butler, who is the next best player on their team, is not looking for a shot.
Well,
Yes, I agree.
That's playoff Jimmy
that's
too.
So
on
like that's
Jimmy.
the irony. He's not playoff Jimmy right now.
But my only,
No.
he's not doing playoff Jimmy,
He's
so
not
that's their
good boy
biggest
Jimmy.
problem. But I'm saying
boy Jimmy.
even outside of that, it's Jimmy Butler's essentially alone right now. Like Buddy Hield is doing great right now, so okay, you can count him for those games. But I'm not going to count on that he's going to be consistent.
But we're watching Donovan Mitchell for the Cavs right now. Like literally be like, everybody hop on. I'm gonna find my shot. I'm
Yeah.
gonna score 40 points per game. We're gonna go for it. We're gonna actually go for it. And then you see Jimmy Butler be the most hesitant, tepid
Well, this
player
looked
I've
like
ever seen.
every year Jimmy has those playoff series where it's like he takes the team on his back.
Good
carries
boy
them.
Jimmy, bad boy
Good-
Jimmy.
Yep. And then he has his games where he's tired.
That
This
does-
looked like his tired game.
You're right. It did. He did look run
Yeah.
down a little bit last night,
So-
but that does baffle me. Like that, a player of his caliber, or anyone in the NBA, the player of those calibers, like they can go out and get their 25 to 30 points a game effortlessly, and then if they put a little bit more effort into it, like Donovan Mitchell's doing this playoff series, he can go get 40.
I mean,
you know
one
what I mean?
thing I do think he was struggling a lot with, and I was talking about this with Jameson at lunch, is that Rudy Gobert is throwing him off, I feel like. He keeps driving into the lane like he's going to do something fancy down there, and sees Rudy, and that ball's coming right back out.
When you see a 7'3"
Yeah.
tree, yeah.
When you see a Frenchman.
So I feel like he hasn't
You
been
run.
taking the shots you're used to seeing like playoff Jimmy take, and maybe we'll see that in a future game. But I think at least game 2, it looked like Rudy scared him off of almost everything.
I mean, honestly, and you guys were in the building, so you can speak to it better than I can, because just watching the TNT coverage. Like, it looked like the Warriors after that first quarter were like, we just don't got it. We just don't have it tonight. We're good.
They did, and then
We
they made a
won the
little
first
run
game.
in the third quarter, and then after that,
Yeah,
the
like,
Wolves got back up 15 again, and they were
Yeah.
just like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we'll eat crow on this one. Moses Moody made the worst air ball I've seen in a long time. Like, whatever. We're just kind of out.
Yeah.
So, again, similar to like what the Cavs series is like and the Celtics series is like, I can't point to the statistical logic to say this is the reason why this team won, this is the reason why this team lost. Because it has been so erratic for game 1, game 2 for both of these teams, where Timberwolves game 1 looked terrible, Timberwolves game 2 look back to sorts.
Yeah.
Game 1
Yeah.
Warriors look pretty great, look absolutely horrid in game 2.
The one thing I'll give both teams, and I said it earlier, is both of them defensively have actually looked solid in both games.
Sure, so there's a solid defensive
Yeah.
thing here.
Yeah.
But at the
And I
same,
mean,
but at
some of the
same
teams are making
time,
it easy to look solid on defense when you take terrible shots, but
it's the Timberwolves and the Celtics are very similar styles of teams. One has just had success and the other hasn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
If 3 doesn't work, and I'll say this about Anthony Edwards, man, because I don't really have much else to say about the Warriors. It's a fluke that they made the frickin' playoffs. It's a fluke that they beat Houston. I know I had them as a wild card, but after watching a couple of those games, I was like, I can't believe
I
this
do
team
not
is in
think
the
it's a
playoffs,
fluke.
man.
It's
It's the Jimmy Butler effect.
It's
well,
good boy Jimmy.
He literally pushed them into the playoffs. But without Steph, and
Yeah,
you're right, he's out for at least 2 more games due to the grade of the hamstring injury. It's going to be hard for them to win.
they should be toast.
Yeah,
Unless the
they
Timberwolves
should be-
do
they
what they
should
did
be.
in game 1.
Unless Anthony Edwards like
If
literally
he
says, "Hey, I'm not
decides
going to
to-
show up," and then
Right.
all the motivation for the team is
Did
like,
you
"Oh yeah."
see how easy it is for him to score layups? What
But-
is he doing?
Did
behind
you
the
see
basket
how
at all?
easy it's for him to score layups on a bum ankle?
Yeah.
He's still blowing by people effortlessly. It's like, dude,
Right.
Never shoot a 3 again unless
Okay.
you're wide
yeah,
open.
just go yam on people.
But back to my Celtics comparison here.
Yep.
Celtics are in the same boat where you're like, Jason Tatum, you're 6'10". Are you kidding? You got Jalen Brunson on a switch. Just run right through him.
Yep.
Well, I think Jaylen Brown also he's really good at blowing by people too.
Right,
Like, go
just-
score.
Yeah.
You got dynamic ball handlers. We have dynamic ball handlers to a lesser degree than I think the Celtics do.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards, when you get a switch and you have Buddy Hield standing right in front of you, just run at him. He's
Yeah.
going to back up.
Anyone besides Jimmy Butler.
Get
basically.
downhill.
Like,
Like,
go.
all of them are going to backtrack
Yeah.
because they can't handle it. It was the same thing in the Lakers series where every time they would run at Luke and LeBron, I'd be like, they're going to backpedal and pray someone is behind them to be able to clean up the mess.
Yeah.
Just freaking run. Just run right at them. Stop settling for these threes. Dante DiVincenzo, no more 3-pointers for you.
And no more.
You got to drive,
well,
man.
if you're wide
But
open, go.
But last night
in
his
there and
3-pointers were wide open.
Okay, it was a
But
good
yeah,
night.
that was
And
'cause
he
he
was
was wide
hitting them.
open because we were
Right, it was
actually
a good
playing
night.
it correctly. We were driving and then kicking out.
It does help when Randall is playing well too, because that's just another threat that the team's like, oh, okay, we actually got to watch this guy this game. He
But
was
Ra- but
playing
Well,
well.
Randall
He was actually
understands.
probably one of the better ones in the first game. Not that means a whole lot.
Yeah.
They're all trash.
But Randall understands. He is a bully. Get in the paint.
Yeah.
Get a switch. Work it in there.
Point
his biggest
forward,
problem
baby.
is if you go down in the paint, stop bringing the ball down.
Yeah.
You're
Yes.
going to lose it every time.
His dribbling is very strange to me.
Yep.
But could we get Rudy Gobert like, I don't know, 5 touches?
Well,
Is that
you have to
okay?
attach some fingers to his hands so they
Well,
can actually
yeah,
catch the ball.
Did you see that fast break he tried to do? He
Incredible.
literally tried to dribble the fast break. You remember that?
He doesn't have
He got the
fingers.
steal.
That
Yeah.
man is an athlete.
Right off his foot, out of bounds.
Athlete. 3 syllables on that. I don't know what to expect out of this series. I still think Timberwolves win. I think this Warriors
I
team
think
is
if
cooked.
Steph is not back, we win in 5.
I
I would
mean,
agree with you.
I think
If Steph
I think
comes
they
back,
wrap it
they
up
might
at
get
home,
one
too.
more just
Yeah.
because he's back
Yeah.
and the
Even
hype's
then,
there.
though, he's going to be. I can't imagine he comes back feeling very good.
But it does make me very skeptical for the Timberwolves going forward. because they're going to have to play a Thunder team that is the best defensive team in basketball.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're just one of those teams that we've just been playing down to whatever we're. So like when we get to OKC, we're like, oh, we can wake up now.
I hope so. Look, they had a good regular season against OKC, but I don't know. I think OKC losing that first game against Denver has kind of sent them into a situation where they're just going to go all the way through now.
The problem that we're going to have is if they show up consistently, like, can the Timberwolves show up consistently? We have not been consistent all year. Like, we have our really good games, and then we just fall asleep for a little while.
Yeah.
Well, that was like last year's playoffs, too. They would wait. They would be like, play a couple good games, and then all of a sudden it'd be like, oh, yeah, we're not going to show up.
But we won all those series that we did that. It was just until we met the Mavericks, we're like, well, let's not cover the lobs.
They need to listen to some Evanescence, you know what I mean?
There you go.
Wake me up inside. Can't wake up. Actually, we probably shouldn't sing that. We don't have the rights.
It's all right. We only did like 10 seconds of it. We
Perfect.
probably won't get.
But we do have a lawyer on the podcast, right, for retainer wise? Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
I'll call him up tomorrow.
Because
make sure we're cool with
Earthquake High Gravity Lager is paying for our attorney fees. Thanks, Earthquake.
I'm gonna clip that and I'm gonna send it to him, and we're all gonna show up with like 30 cases of that. Oh man! Before we wrap up,
said worse things.
He might have. Before we wrap up tonight, are we staying with the same teams, same finals outcomes? What are we thinking right now, fellas?
I had my choice was Celtics Thunder.
I had Celtics
I still
Thunder.
Stand by that then.
Celtics Thunder, and I had Celtics. I think in 6.
Oh, actually, I do have to change my winner though. As of what's happening right now, I would definitely
going
lean
Thunder. You're leaning Thunder. Where are you at, Matt?
Again, I'm on the Titanic, playing the violin with the rest of the boys. Let's go Thunder, Cavs still. Thunder win it all.
All right. Cavs are looking good tonight.
Best case scenario, Cavs and Timberwolves. Actually, you know what'd be really fun, except it scares the crap out of me as a Timberwolves fan? Timberwolves and Pacers.
I don't want to play the Pacers.
I don't want to, but I'm just saying if we were not Timberwolves fans, that would be one of the most fun series to watch.
I feel like...
Why would that be fun?
Fast pace, crazy, large rotations of good players.
The physicality of it all would be pretty wild. Be pretty wild.
I mean, the Cavs would be pretty fun, too, to see. All of them not exactly ideal for us to play. It'd be nice if we were playing, like, why didn't the... I don't even know. Who would have been a great team for us to match up with that was in there earlier? Orlando?
Orlando. Yeah. We're Orlando folks. We've been riding that train for a while. We talked a lot of basketball tonight. Don't forget the hockey playoffs are on. I know Matt and Trevor are huge hockey fans. We might have to take 5 minutes to talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs next time we get on the podcast. Mammoth, yeah, Tusks up, baby. I'm truly becoming a Mammoth fan. I'm serious. I'm gonna get a jersey. Those jerseys are sweet. Thanks for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. More NBA talk coming at you guys. Next time we hop on, probably closer to the NBA Finals. Listen on all podcast platforms. The podcast. We do appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, share, talk about it.